Last time we looked at the mandate for the prophetic according to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 19 through 22. Let's now begin to look at some of the biblical reasons for the prophetic. I want to suggest at least 6 over the next many times together. And let's begin, first of all, with the reality of encouragement, comforting, and strengthening others. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 3 says that prophecy is for the purpose of encouragement, comfort, and strength. This is at the heart of the prophetic. Life is challenging, and sometimes God desires to speak words of exhortation to us, not only through His Scriptures, but directly and relevantly through a prophetic word that might come from another or through us to another. Joshua certainly needed and received this when he was at a critical juncture in his life. Moses had just died. The daunting mantle of leading the nation of Israel was given to Joshua. And that is the context in which God says to Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, for you will lead my people to possess all the land that I swore to give their ancestors. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." We find that in Joshua chapter 1. And I've experienced many such words spoken to me in which I knew it was the Lord. One such time distinctly stands out. We'd been in a season in which God was realigning us to understand His mission for His church, which included the very things that Jesus did during His earthly ministry. This season had been challenging and exhausting. At the time, I was battling discouragement and various forms of fatigue due to the challenges related to this season. Just prior to a worship service, I was making my way toward the auditorium, and I saw a man whom I'd never met before standing in the lobby. I stopped to welcome and introduce myself to him. He then told me he had something to say to me, and that he believed the Lord had told him to speak it. He then quoted from memory Luke chapter 2, verse 22 through 23, when Jesus answered the inquiry of John the Baptist's disciples as to whether or not Jesus was the Messiah by recounting the miraculous works he was doing. When he spoke the last phrase, "And blessed is he who is not offended because of me," I was deeply convicted by God's Spirit. This man went on to say that the Lord's message to me was that I was not to be offended at what God was doing, nor be offended by those who were offended at what God was doing, but to be strong. This stranger's words to me were haunting in their accuracy and also their relevance. Who was this man? How did he know? And to my knowledge, I never saw that man again. That word, spoken to me that evening, powerfully challenged me. I was deeply convicted, but that word also profoundly strengthened and encouraged me. It gave me a second wind. There's no doubt this word had been from the Lord because of the fruit of its ministry to me and my life at that time. How about you? Are you open to God speaking to and through you specific words that encourage, comfort, and strengthen? Next time, we want to be able to look at the second reason as to why the prophetic is so important in our lives and really in the life of the church.